I think we're all accustomed to presidential speeches, especially in the midst of a presidential campaign. But have you ever really given any thought to presidential speech? The actual words and voices and accents of the various presidents? Some speak with very neutral accents, and others have very distinctive regional accents. But presidents don't just reflect the speech of their constituents, they also help to shape that speech. You might be surprised how much the words of the presidents have shaped the English language itself, especially American English. In many ways, the history of presidential speech is really the history of American English. So I want to take you through that history to see the evolution of American English through the words of the various presidents. Let's begin our journey at the beginning, before there were any presidents, and before there was even a United States of America. I want to take you back to the 1600s, when the British Empire extended its reach to the shores of North America. It was in that first century of migration that a unique American dialect started to emerge. As migrants poured in from Britain, they brought their accents with them. And I say accents because there wasn't one British accent, there were lots of them. Much like today, there was an incredible diversity of accents and dialects in Britain. From north to south and east to west, and even from town to town, people spoke different versions of English. And those different dialects traveled across the Atlantic in the 1600s. Once they were in the New World, those dialects quickly blended together. Many common features shared by those various dialects were retained, and many features that were unique to particular dialects were lost. As a result, there was a leveling off of those dialects, and within a couple of generations, a new form of English had emerged in the New World. This was a more or less uniform style of speech that was the foundation of later American English. Of course, there were no tape recordings from this period, so no one knows exactly what this new early American dialect sounded like. But there are clues from the surviving text, and also from people who commented on the English spoken in the New World. Many letters survive from people who traveled from Britain to the colonies during this early period of settlement. And in a few instances, the travelers commented on the language of the colonists. And the authors of those letters expressed surprise at how uniform the English language was in the colonies. As I noted, dialects varied greatly within Britain, and apparently travelers from Britain expected to find the same thing when they arrived in the colonies. But that wasn't really the case at all. While visitors from Britain may have been surprised by the uniformity of colonial English, that doesn't mean that it was completely uniform and without variation. In fact, there were some slight regional differences from the very beginning. And much like today, those regional differences were more apparent to the natives who grew up there than it was to the visitors who arrived from elsewhere. Letters from colonists who traveled throughout the colonies indicate some subtle differences in speech from region to region. For example, residents of the Virginia colony in the South tended to use elongated vowels, and they spoke with a little more of a drawl. And people in the Massachusetts colony in the North tended to drop their R's after vowels. These differences became more exaggerated over time, and they still exist today. So where did those regional differences come from?